Hi guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a Spongebob set. As you can see, I've already prepped my nails and applied my tips. Now I'm going to go in with Dreamland from Nails by Dev. It's this really pretty shimmery iridescent kind of gel polish. It shifts kind of from like a blue to like a purpley pinky color. After I get that applied to all of the nails, I do cure that for 60 seconds. After I got that all applied, I went in and applied a base coat, which I thought I had filmed, but apparently I didn't film myself applying the base coat. And before I cured the base coat, I took these little like iridescent flakes. I used the white ones because they have the most like different colored reflex on them. And I stuck those right into the wet base coat. I was trying to stick with the smaller pieces of these because there are some really large pieces that are mixed in here, as well as some really small pieces. And I was trying to stick to more of the smaller pieces. I thought it was going to work out a little bit better, but in the finished result, I feel like the larger pieces actually ended up looking a little bit better. So I think if I were to do this again, I would have used more of the larger pieces or just used more of the smaller pieces. I was afraid I was going to overpower that glitter that I have on the bottom with these iridescent flakes and you wouldn't really be able to see it, but it would have been fine if I would have added more or even used those larger pieces. After I got those all applied, I did cure for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with my base coat again and applying that to all of the nails. I was hoping that the base coat itself would cover up all of those little iridescent flakes and be good for mine. It wasn't. So after I got this base coat applied and cured, I did have to go in with my LGN crystal clear builder gel and apply a thin layer of that to the nails just to cover those up, because I am going to be going over top with a jelly blue gel polish, and the little flakes were kind of sticking up and a little jagged, so that was going to make it really hard to go over those with that jelly gel polish. So I needed to make sure those were all covered up and everything was smooth so I could go over it with that and not have any like lumps and bumps in the gel polish. So like I said, I'm applying a thin layer of this crystal clear builder gel, thin enough to where I'm not adding a whole lot of bulk to the nail, but thick enough to where it does cover up those little flaky pieces. After that's applied, I do cure for a full 60 seconds. And then like I said, I am taking this blue jelly gel polish from Nails by Dev and applying that to all of the nails, and once I get that on, I do cure that for 60 seconds. My idea here was to create kind of like a shimmery water look. You know how sometimes when the sun is reflecting on the water, it kind of looks shimmery and sparkly almost. So I was trying to mimic that a little bit. Since I am doing a SpongeBob set, I did want the background to look more like water. So because I knew going into this set that I was going to have multiple layers for the background, as well as all of the layers that were going to go into doing the nail art, I decided that I was going to do the background and then encapsulate that. That way I don't have this super thick, bulky nail. Whenever I do nail sets and I know I'm going to do a lot of layers, I will try to make sure that the background at least is encapsulated. That way I don't have all this extra bulk and added layers. If it's not possible for me to encapsulate what I'm doing, then obviously I'll try to keep the layers as thin as possible and to, wipe down the edges of the nails to make sure that I don't lose that shape. But like I said, if I can encapsulate whatever I'm doing, or at least part of what I'm doing, then I will. I don't show myself encapsulating this design. I did that all off camera. I also filed, shaped, and buffed off camera. So the next clip you see is actually going to be the next day after all that's done, because I started these nails super late, and by the time I got finished with the filing and all of that, it was super late. So I did go to bed and then pick back up the next day. And this is what they were looking like after I did all my filing. I also applied a matte top coat to the nails since I am going to be doing a lot of nail art on top. I didn't want any of the scratches that were left behind from filing to mess up anything that I was doing on top. Sometimes when you do nail art on top and you do it right on top of a freshly filed nail, it will seep down into those scratches, and then if you wipe it off, it'll still be stuck down in those cracks. It can also like spread within those cracks, so your lines kind of spread out and they aren't as crisp and clean. So I did go ahead and apply a matte top coat since I was going to be doing a lot of nail art on top. Before I did anything else on top of that matte top coat, I did buff it real quick to rough it up a little bit. That way the gel actually sticks to the nail. And then after doing that, I did draw out Spongebob on the nail with a pencil. If I'm doing something super detailed like this, sometimes I will actually go in with a pencil and draw what I'm doing onto the nail. That way I have my outline ready to go and I can just go in and do the color blocking. Sometimes I'll do the outline with gel polish. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling that day. But for this one, because I felt like SpongeBob was going to take a while, I thought I'd make it a little bit easier on myself and just do the outline with a pencil. And then I went ahead and got my palette ready with all of the different colors that I was going to be using for SpongeBob. I mainly used all colors from Ball Pit's Hot Girl Summer collection, with a couple colors from Nail Reserve to get that color for his little like spots. And then after that, I just went in with the color blocking. So I'm starting with the yellow, and then I go in with the white, the blue, and the black, and the green, and everything. And I do cure in between each color. So after I get the yellow on, I do cure that before moving on to the next color. And for this yellow, I did end up doing 3 coats for the yellow. And I cured each coat for 60 seconds. I could have laid down a layer of white before going in with the yellow, and it would have made that yellow super bright and stand out, and I wouldn't have had to do so many layers. But This yellow that I'm using is super bright and neon, and it was a little bit too bright for SpongeBob's actual color. So I used the background to my advantage. Since it was so dark, I knew it was going to kind of tone down that yellow a little bit. So I did just go right in with that yellow and let that dark background tone down that yellow, and it made it the perfect color for SpongeBob. Another thing that I really like about drawing out the design first with a pencil is that you can make sure that you get your proportions correct without having to wipe the nail off a million times. Because, you know, if you're using gel polish, you can mess up and then you have to wipe the nail off all the time. And then if you get a part of it down the way you want it, you might go and flash cure it, and then you go on to another part, and then it's just not working out. And if you flash cured something that you maybe shouldn't have flash cured, then you gotta file it off. So you can prevent all of that trouble if you use a pencil like I did. Like I said, I don't always use a pencil. It just kind of depends on what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how difficult I feel like what I'm painting on is going to be. Like I said, I felt like SpongeBob was going to take a while, and I kind of felt like it was also going to be a little difficult because you got to get his proportions just right. Otherwise, you know, he's gonna look a little funky. So in order to make sure I had everything right, I just did it with a pencil. It was so easy. And if you do mess up with a pencil, it's super easy. You can just wipe it off with some alcohol and go back in, or you can just, you know, draw over it and ignore that messed up spot that you had, whatever you feel like you need to do. But it is a lot easier to go in with the pencil first, get everything down, make sure your proportions are good before going in and doing any painting. I used to do this all the time, like when I first started doing nail art. And especially whenever I would try to do character nail art, I would always go in with the pencil. It definitely helps to figure out those proportions, because as a beginner, sometimes you struggle with making sure that you have the correct proportions, because this is such a small scale. It can get a little wonky pretty easily. So I definitely feel like if you're a beginner and you're wanting to do like character art like this, I would definitely recommend starting with drawing them out with a pencil, and then you can work your way up to doing it with gel polish. Like I said, I feel like doing it with gel polish is a little bit more difficult, and using the pencil is a little more beginner friendly. Also, you can see here the teeth kind of got a little messed up, like the yellow kind of took over where the teeth were supposed to be, and they got a little misshapen. I did end up having to file those off and completely redo them because they ended up being a little too low. I don't know how I managed to do that, but because everything was fine when I went in and drew everything with the pencil, all the like everything was spaced out the way it should have been. So when I went in with the yellow, somehow it all got messed up, but it was fine. It was a quick, easy fix. I did fill in the teeth with the white and got it all cured, and then when I went to do the mouth, things just weren't looking right, so I filed off the white parts, filled that in with the yellow, and then just painted on top of the yellow, and it all ended up working out just fine. And for the rest of this video, you are going to be seeing lots of different jumps and cuts, just because that's going to be a spot where I had to pull my hand away and like hold it directly in front of my face so I could see what I was doing. You know, if you film videos, then you know sometimes it can be a little difficult to do certain things on camera with the way you have to have your hand position and like making sure you're in frame and everything. So yeah, sometimes when doing something like this, you do kind of have to pull away to make sure that, you know, your lines are going good, or you're getting things centered and making sure the proportions are correct. But I did try to film as much as possible and make sure that I was able to get as much footage as possible to show you guys. But like I said, there were just some times where I had to pull my hand away and actually like have my hand in front of my face so I could get this done. So right here I am adding another layer of matte top coat. I do cure it for 60 seconds, but I have seen a lot of people say that when you are going in to do an outline or do outlining on something, especially like character art, to apply a matte top coat before you do the outline to ensure that it's nice and smooth and like you're doing it on an even surface and not a bumpy surface, because depending on certain colors you might have to do more than one layer. Like for example, the yellow I had to do 3 layers, but for that white I only had to do 1 layer, so it was kind of a little bit uneven. So adding that matte top coat on kind of evened it out a little bit so it wasn't so lumpy when I was going over it. I feel like it worked well, but also that was my first time trying it, so I can't say for sure if it made very much of a difference for me. That's something I'm gonna have to test out some more. But right here I am just mixing up the color for Patrick. So this is his like base color, and then the next color that I mix up is his outline color. And now that I'm done with this set, I do feel like his outline color should have been like his body color. Is there a bug over there? I apologize for that. My cat has been this whole time like messing with something under my dresser, and I have no idea what is over there or what she was messing with. I didn't see anything. But anyhow, like I was saying, I feel like the color that I mixed up for his outline should have been his body color. I feel like seeing it on the nail now, it looks more of like his body color, and then taking that color and just darkening up a little bit for the outline. I do feel like the color that I mixed up for his body ended up being a little too light, but it's okay. He still looks like Patrick. Like, the colors aren't too off, so it's really no big deal. For Patrick, I did only draw out like the triangle shape. I didn't do his face or anything. I was kind of feeling like it was going to be easier for me to just paint those on, because I am using my left hand. I am right-handed, so I was doing Patrick with my non-dominant hand, and for some reason I feel like painting is a lot easier to do than like actually drawing or like writing with my left hand. So I felt like just going in with the gel paint and just going in and doing his face instead of like drawing it on with the pencil was going to be a lot easier. So like I said, I just drew on the triangle shape to get like the basic shape and like figure out where he was gonna be and like how big he was gonna be. And then I did make it very pointy when I drew it on, but when I painted it, I did round out the top. And then, like I said, went in and did his face. And again, once I got the different colors down, I would flash cure. Although once I got Patrick's body down, I did do a full cure on that one since I knew colors were going to get layered on top of it, and I wanted to make sure that he was completely cured before adding anything else on top of it. So like I said earlier, I pretty much used the entire Ball Pit Hot Girl Summer collection for this set. I didn't use the blue glitter one or the nude glitter one. I think that was like ocean water and nude beach. Anyhow, I used all the rest of them for this set. They just were like the perfect colors for so these colors that I just showed here are all the colors that I'm using for the little flower clouds, and I mixed together the yellow and the blue to get a nice neon green, because there is not a green in this collection, and none of the greens that I currently have I felt like were the right green that I was looking for. So I tried mixing those two, hoping that it would give me a good green, and it did, so I was really happy with that. As you could see there, I was trying to do the flowers in just the colors, but I kind of figured I wouldn't be able to because this background is so dark, and I felt like I was gonna have to do a whole bunch of layers. So I am taking the white liner gel from Ball Pit and going in and drawing on all of the little flowers, and these flowers were on my nerves. You would think they would be fairly easy to do because they're not like any particular shape, or well, I mean, they are a particular shape, but like they look like they'd be easy to draw. Like you just kind of do your little squiggly flower petals and you're good to go. But like, because they are such a recognizable thing, you have to make sure that they are like perfect. Otherwise, it's just going to look a mess. It took me so long. I had to redo each little flower that I did at least twice. Some of them I had to redo several times. And I'm sparing you from having to see all of that. I started with Spongebob and Patrick because I thought they were going to be the hardest part of this entire set. It ended up being these stupid little flowers. They ended up taking me the longest to do just because I did keep redoing them. And like I'd do it and then I'd have to wipe it off, do it again, wipe it off, do it again, until I got it to look the way I wanted it to look. Also on my ring finger and my thumb on my left hand here, I got them on and cured them, but then I ended up not liking how they looked, so I did file them off and have to redo them. So you are going to see in the end they do look a little bit different. But after I did each flower, like once I got the flower how I wanted it to look, I flash cured it so it wouldn't get messed up and I wouldn't have to redo it again for the 1000th time. After I got all of these little flowers on, I did go ahead and do a full 60-second cure before doing the flowers over on my right hand. And I did show me doing one flower on my thumb on my right hand, so you can see how much I was struggling doing it with my left hand. You can see I'm already struggling doing it with my right hand, so it was even more of a struggle to do it with my left hand. But like I said, I spared you from having to see me do these so many times. Also, I have this entire video sped up quite a bit because I had so much footage, and even with editing and like cutting out some stuff, it was still a really long video. It was like an hour and 45-minute video. So, I did end up speeding it up quite a bit, but with as slow as I was going while doing this set, it honestly doesn't look like it's sped up at all, but I can assure you that it is sped up a lot. And this just goes to show how slow I was actually moving when doing all of this. And then after I got all of the flowers on, I did just go over them with all the colors that I had laid out on my palette. I think I only showed myself doing one flower because I felt like you already saw me paint on a couple of these flowers, and I felt like watching me go over them just to add the color was gonna be kind of pointless, because it was just, like I said, me going over the flowers themselves, and like you already saw me painting them on, and like how I went about doing that. And then after I got all of the colors added onto the flowers, I'm just taking my shiny top coat from LGN and top coating all of the nails. And this was my favorite part of the entire set, was top coating them, because it really brought out that glitter again, and you can really see it shining through there, and it just brought the whole set together. Adding on the top coat, it made everything look nice and smooth, and kind of masked any little mistakes that I had going on. And after I got it applied, I did cure it for 60 seconds. Also, I forgot to mention earlier that I did add a shiny top coat onto the underneath of the nails. I did that after I had filed them, and when I added the matte top coat onto the top of the nails as well. And this is what they look like. I was trying to use my little nail plate thingy there to show off the nails, but my fingers are kind of short and stubby, so it's kind of hard for me to wrap them around. Also, with the length of the nails, it's kind of hard to get it all flat and even to where you could see the nails, but this is what they look like. I am super happy with them and how they came out. They look so good. I don't do character art often just because it does take a long time, and I don't always like to spend that much time doing my own nails. Like, doing my own nails already takes a long time, and then doing character art on top of it just adds so much more time to it. But I am super happy with these, and SpongeBob is one of my absolute favorite shows ever. I just absolutely love SpongeBob, so I am in love with this set, and I'm so glad it came out so good. If you watched my Saw video, the one where I let my sister choose my nail design and she chose the Saw, I said in that I'm not good at doing like realistic type of nail art and like trying to do like realistic portraits, but when it comes to like cartoons and stuff like this, I can get those done pretty well, except for that Halloween Disney set, which we're not going to talk about that. But anyhow, this set came out really well, and I'm super happy with it. I love how it looks here under the flash. You can really see that shimmer and glitter underneath there. That is probably my favorite part. of this set is that shimmer and how it really does look like the light reflecting off of some water. I will say my outlining is a little shaky, especially on Patrick. So that's just something I'm gonna have to like work on and practice with. I'm not surprised though that my lines are pretty shaky here on my right hand because like I said, I am right-handed. So doing nail art and just doing my nails on my right hand in general is already hard enough. But like I said, they still came out really good and I'm really happy with them. And I feel like I say it a lot here on my channel and with almost every set, but this is one of my favorite sets that I have done. It might actually be my favorite set that I've ever done just because it's SpongeBob, and like I said, SpongeBob is one of my absolute favorite shows ever. So like I'm really happy to have SpongeBob on my nails. Also, it's the 25th anniversary of SpongeBob, so the timing actually ended up being really good for this set. I didn't know it was the 25th anniversary when I was planning this out, and then it's like all over the place that it's the 25th anniversary, and I'm like, oh, perfect. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.